water. We are just over 5 weeks until the election, and our next guest says there are certain industries that will fare better in a Romney presidency versus an Obama re-election. Global marketing strategist Uri Man is in Miami. He's going to break it down for us. All right, Uri, I want to go through this fast. If Romney wins, what's the #1 industry group that wins?
The #1 industry is energy, in the sense that oil, natural gas and coal companies will do better. Remember, Romney is going to take a aggressive survey of everything that's available to the United States, and he's going to expedite permits so that the United States can become more independent. So that's definitely the first. I would also say defense spending.
Hold on a second. On our list, I've got health care. You say that health care will do well in the event of a Romney win. Health care does well. Now, explain that one to me.
Well, specific companies in the healthcare field, especially those that are medical device companies that create the most high-end products, which are expensive but really raise the quality of our healthcare system, those types of companies will benefit. Because remember, during the Affordable Care Act, when it was drafted, we added a 2.3% tax on those companies. So that tax might be repealed or reformed. So more ingenuitive type of companies that
so actually that was a biotech tax, wasn't it? That was a tax on biotech companies, 2.3%. If that goes away, then that particular group, biotech, does well, you say, right?
Yeah, under our current system, it's very difficult to pass these types of costs down to the end consumer, the high-end medical equipment.
You got it. Now, turn this around. Let's suppose President Obama gets a second term. #1 industry winner, which is it?
Well, the #1 really, I would say, is low-cost retailers. Remember, under a Romney presidency, we're most likely to have some sort of tax reform, which would include perhaps a value-added tax, and the low-cost retailers are extremely tax-sensitive. It's no wonder, for example, that Lawrence Jackson, who's the executive vice president of Walmart, is a huge Obama supporter, because he doesn't want any sort of tax on consumption, which is really the wrong thing for our country. We do need to have a tax on consumption.
Wait a second. You know, isn't that a bit of a stretch? In you know, a Romney administration would have a value-added tax. That's a stretch, isn't it? Where did that come from?
Well, if you look at the way that we tax our country today, you know, we have a very progressive tax. We're going to have to raise taxes whether we're under Romney or under Obama. And we know
not so sure about that. I'm going to take issue with that. Tax reform doesn't mean a tax increase, you know.
Well, I don't see how we're going to pay for the deficit without raising taxes somehow.
Are you an Obama supporter? Really?
I actually am not.
Ah.
I'm not an Obama supporter. But I still can't believe a situation where we're going to get out of this mess without doing something. We're not raising revenues, so we're going to have to increase taxes.
You got it wrong.
One way or the other.
You raise revenues by lowering tax rates and getting rid of some loopholes and deductions. That's how you raise revenues.
Well, if we remove loopholes and deductions for taxes, that's the same as raising taxes, right?
Say that again. Somebody was in my ear. Say it again.
If you're reducing the loopholes on people taking deductions, you're essentially raising taxes.
Yes, but
so
what you do is,
when
when you lower tax rates, you create incentive to go out there, work harder, more overtime, take a second job, and therefore you boost the economy, and therefore you bring more money into the central government without raising tax rates or taxes themselves. I got to go, though, Uri, but I'm glad you stuck around for an Economics 101 lesson on tax reform. That was very useful for you. Come back again when we've got more time. Appreciate it. The Dow Industrials are down 101 points. Let's not forget that. Next, the women's vote, especially unmarried women, leans heavily towards President Obama. Now, why is that? Have they not been paying attention these past 4 years? That's what a top Obama campaign advisor says.
That's the other thing that you find most often with women. They're not really concerned about what's happened over the last 4 years. They really want to know what's going to happen in the next 4 years.
Building the new home of the American dream. Fox Business, the power to prosper.
Looking for dividend-paying stocks for your portfolio? With the Fidelity Stock Screener, you can try strategies from independent experts and see what criteria they use, such as a 5% yield on dividend-paying stocks.